This is a carry-on from yesterday's video, and this is my brand spanking new webcam, which I went out and decided to receive today, which I'm super thankful for because it was an absolute bargain for an HD webcam, and it was all guided and all perfect and all infinite and all absolutely amazing. And I wanted to hop on mainly to share the last 24 hours, which have been phenomenal. Something in the energy. There's something in the energy. It has been phenomenal. From the video I put up yesterday, which is If I'm So Infinite, Where the Fuck Is All My Stuff, has received such interesting, contrasting experiences for me. The first one was a girl who was responding quite negatively to what I said, and she was essentially saying I was wrong. And she made the decision to delete me as a Facebook friend, which was really interesting for me. And usually I would go into that situation and I would feel terrible. I would feel like I had done something wrong. I would feel like I would feel so bad for doing something that offended somebody. And yet I read her message on my wall, and then when I realised that she had deleted me, I looked at that and I kind of went into the feeling of, that's okay. Because, you know, this is my human side. And I want to accept, understand, love, and allow my human side. And this is part of me being human, is having these emotions and having these feelings and having these reactions to what I'm doing. And I also sat and I went, you know what? I don't want people that don't accept the human aspect of me. I want people around me who accept me in all my rawness, and who accept not only the infinite part of me, they also accept the human part of me. And then I realized that is because I am now accepting the human part of me. And then I had the most amazing phone call with one of my closest friends who I tend not to bring into any of these videos, and I don't mention her name, and I won't be mentioning her name in this video. And mainly because she's kind of like someone that I really want to keep to myself. She's my closest friend. I've known her for years. She's the only friend that I have left from anyone who used to know me, and she has come along this journey with me. And one day at some stage, I'm sure I will sit here and say, this is her. But for now, it kind of works for both of us, for me, you know, to keep it the way it is. So she rang me this morning and I told her what was happening. And then I realized I went into such an amazing space with her. I said to her, you know, the human part of us, it is so beautiful. And the human part of me loves to celebrate. I love celebrations. I love Christmas, I love New Year's Eve, I love Valentine's Day, I love Easter, I love my birthday, I love other people's birthdays. And she said to me, you know, I agree with you. She said she loves being able to, you know, to get in the joy and celebration. She said, let's put some sparkle onto these days, let's put some sparkle into these celebrations. And we were just kind of having this conversation about how from a spiritual perspective, and I do use the word spiritual perspective because I found for me that it is really this spiritual belief within me that says that you know, all of these experiences, birthday and Valentine's Day and Easter and Christmas, they've all become so commercial. And because they've all become so commercial, it's, you know, it's lost its true meaning, and therefore we should all boycott it and we shouldn't experience it, and we should just let it go. And, you know, let the people that don't know any better celebrate it, because we know better, because, you know, we're spiritual. We know better. So let's not celebrate the commercial aspect of these experiences, and let's just deny ourselves that joy. And here's the thing. We're denying ourselves the joy. Who gives a shit if Christmas has become so commercial that in August they have Christmas decorations up? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? I mean, honestly, it is such an amazing, 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 amazing time. And New Year's Eve, how much fun is New Year's Eve to go out and count down to midnight, which really, let's face it, doesn't mean anything, you know, being spiritual. We know that time doesn't exist, but hey, what is another reason to celebrate but another reason to celebrate? And isn't this whole life meant to be about celebrating and appreciating? And yet here we are in our infinite spiritualness saying, oh no, these holidays and these celebrations and Valentine's Day, oh my God, how commercial is Valentine's Day? I don't believe, and you know, this has been me for the last couple of years. I don't believe in Valentine's Day because I don't believe that there should only be one day of the year that we should appreciate our partners. And I don't believe in Mother's Day or Father's Day because I think it's stupid that one day a year is the only day that we actually recognize these people as being something. And this is what this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dear friend of mine said this morning about it all. She said, it's not that there's only one day of the year that we celebrate these different experiences. It's that one day of the year we openly get to celebrate these experiences. She said, you know, every day she celebrates and appreciates the fact that she's alive. And on this one day of the year when she was physically born into this earth, she gets to add a little bit of extra sparkle, because then she gets to grab everybody that is around her and say, hey, come and celebrate me. And she calls it adding sparkle to life. And I love the fact that she said that. I heard that and I looked at her, well, I looked at the phone and just went, that is so awesome. Why deny? And you know, I've been denying myself celebrating Valentine's Day and denying myself celebrating my birthday and denying myself celebrating New Year's Eve and Christmas because I'm spiritual and it's all commercial and it's all a load of bullshit. But here's the thing, every time my birthday comes around and I don't celebrate it, do you know how miserable I feel? And every time Valentine's Day comes around, when I had a partner and we didn't celebrate it because we thought it was too commercial and, you know, you don't need one day a year to celebrate, I felt miserable. I felt like, you know, I want to have a day where I can celebrate my relationship. And you know what? There's all this celebration energy in the world on Valentine's Day. So why not tap into all of that celebratory energy and celebrate with everybody else? Do you know how amazing it will be to go out with some sparkle? As she said, as my friend said, put some sparkle on the experience and go out and put sparkle on everybody else's experience on that one day of the year, because so many other couples are out celebrating. It's like, oh my God, how cool is this? And I came to this massive, massive, massive realization that, you know what? It's really simple. I am, and I said it in my video, and you know I was ranting and sharing a lot of energy, so I'm going to see if I can put it a little bit more eloquently in this video, as Jomo did in his after watching mine. I am human. I am so human. I am in this physical body, having this physical experience. And you know what? Part of having this physical experience is celebrating. It is celebrating all of these human, man-made creations, because that's what humans do. And I'm realizing over the last 24 hours, I have realized more and more and more how detrimental denying myself the right to celebrate all of these different days that we have allocated to celebration. I've realized how detrimental that has been to my human side. And then I was also looking at it this morning as I was walking around Brisbane, and you know, I went in and bought my new webcam, and I kind of realized, you know, there's so much of my human side that I'm denying, because I look at it and I go, well, I'm spiritual and I'm infinite and I'm connected and I don't need this and I don't need that. And the thing that really triggered all of this was the woman that deleted me as a Facebook friend. She said, you know, you don't need Christmas. You don't need Christmas stuff. You don't need the stuff. You don't need money. Once you find love, you don't need any of that stuff. And I sat and I looked at that and I went, you know what? I do. And it's not from a negative ego perspective that I need it to make myself feel better about myself. And I get when you're doing it from that space, that is so not the best place to do it from. What I mean is that I'm human and I'm an infinite part of creation in this physical human body, having a human experience that kind of wants to have a bit of fun. And that part of having fun is having the fast car, and it's having the boat, and it's having the massive, you know, home cinema, and it's having the nice shoes and the nice bag and the nice hat. And I put on I think she replied to one of my YouTube videos, and I don't know if her response is still there or if she's taken it off, because I haven't had a look. But I put in that, you know, me loving me is me allowing the stuff. Me loving this human side of me is me going and saying, yes, I want the stuff. I want the shoes. I love myself so much that I want the physical part of me to look amazing. And that means that the physical part of me has to have a really nice pair of shoes, and has to have a really nice dress or a really nice outfit, and has to have a really nice hat, and has to have a really nice bag, and has to have a really nice scarf or really nice earrings, whatever it is. I love myself so much that I want to have the stuff around me so I can experience what being physical really is. Do you know how exciting this is? Is happy, and I'm sitting here and it's like this whole part of me is just going, oh my God, you are finally getting this experience. It's so exciting that we are infinite, and being part of infinite creation, we have made the choice to come into this human physical body and have these human physical experiences. And part of having this human physical experience is getting the joys of going and lying on the front of a boat in the Greek Isles once while some Greek god fans me and feeds me olives. Come on. Why would I deny myself all of this stuff simply because I think I'm spiritual and all I need is love? Well, guess what? It's the love that is driving this desire to have all of these physical human experiences. I want to be able to touch something that is tangible and go, oh my God, I love myself so much that I am allowing this experience into my life. How cool is that? The next part of this video, and I know, you know, my videos do get quite long, but this is the second part of the video, and I'm hoping that you're still here. And I knew that these videos were going to be this video, and the next, you know, I knew this video was going to be big because there's so much for me to share, and there's so much that's happened in the last 24 hours, and I'm so excited that I wanted to acknowledge a couple of people, apart from 2 people I've already mentioned, who I haven't named, but you know, I've sent the energy out there. The other 2 people I am going to name. One of them is Anne Aleckson. I've mentioned her a few times. We had the most phenomenal conversation last night, and I've included it in this video at the end. So if you keep, I think it's 8 or 9 minutes at the end, and it is amazing for me. What she helped me find was the truth in the core part of me. You all know, I'm sure you've all heard the analogy that we're an onion, and you know, we've been peeling off the layers, and I've been peeling off the layers, and she has been wanting to get me into this place for such a long time, and I kept fighting her and kept fighting her and kept fighting her. And I know I get so strongly that the video I created yesterday was releasing the last layer that was blocking me from seeing this. And this is huge for me, which is why I've included bits of it at the end. The main part of it was me realizing that my biggest fear about doing everything that I'm doing is that I'm going to become nothing. And she pinpointed it yesterday. She said, you know, she was getting that my biggest fear was that if I released this thing that is just absolutely strangling my energy at the moment, if I release it, she said, you feel like you're going to collapse. You feel like there's going to be nothing left of you. She said, that's not possible. It's the final hour, the final moment of almost like the death of your ego, and the ego, you know, the ego that is holding on and holding me back, and you know the ego I'm talking about. It's not the ego aspect I was talking about a second ago. That is the human aspect, the embracing the whole aspect of being human and being physical. But this is kind of different. And I'm hoping you kind of get where I'm going with this, because I don't think I have enough time to explain it at all. But it's the ego, the mind, the part of me that is holding on so strongly and refusing to let go, and it doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to die, and it is fighting every single step of the way. And she helped me through asking me a series of different questions to realize that I am petrified of the nothingness. I'm petrified of being nothing and being known as no one. And what's really interesting is that's kind of exactly what I've created. You know, no one. I said to her last night on the call that at my old place at Varsity, if I had died, nobody would have known, because nobody rang me, nobody came over to see me. Nobody even knew where I lived, and I would have been, one of these people that in 3 months' time the body would have been found after being eaten by Alsatians or something stupid like that. And she kind of helped me find this part in me that I have been so scared of. So I've included that in the call. And the other person I really wanted to acknowledge and appreciate so immensely, and it was it was 2 things. It was an absolute shock and an absolute thrill, and exactly the same time, because it wasn't expected. I'd had this other reaction from someone, and she was quite negative, and I was really kind of looking at it going, okay, am I doing the right thing with these videos? Is this what I'm meant to be doing? Is this actually making a difference to anybody? Is anybody watching them? Is anybody noticing? Does anybody care? You know, I have all of these thoughts going on in my head about these videos and about what I'm doing, because this is me. This is me in the raw. This is me sharing the struggles that I'm going through. And, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. And you know, the human part of me, it wants validation. It's screaming for validation, and it's screaming for acknowledgement. And part of the thing this morning when this woman sent the message, I realized that, yeah, okay, I am screaming. I want validation and I want acknowledgement for what I'm doing. And part of embracing my human side and is realizing that I'm limited, realizing that there are parts of me that have these requirements. And when I feel them, when I know I need validation, ask for it and say, you know what, universe, source, infinite creative part of me, I need validation for what I'm doing. I'm struggling. There's something going on and I need to know that I'm doing the right thing. So can you send someone to me that gives me something that says, yes, you are on the right path? And God damn it, the most perfect person came into alignment and just went bam. And I read it and simply went, oh my goodness. So I'm going to read the message. It was from Bob Doyle, who I love and appreciate even more in this moment, but I'm going to read to you what he said. He said, Kaylee, I just wanted to say that I've watched a few of your 30-day videos and I commend the hell out of you for what you're doing and who you're being. It's bold and more authentic than just about anything I've seen. And I read that and I took a moment and it literally slapped me in the face and I almost fell backwards and I looked at it and just went, oh wow, that is so cool. That is exactly what I needed in that moment right now. Was I needed validation. I was feeling so raw and so I guess I was feeling a little bit beaten, and to receive that and to look at it and go, yeah, you know what, this is what I'm being. I am being raw. I am being authentic. And then I posted something on my Facebook wall about, you know, this is me acknowledging, learning to acknowledge, learning to accept, learning to appreciate that I am human, learning how to balance between being human and being spiritual. And after his message, I then had this stream of people who were validating my authenticity and saying on the post, wow, this is so raw, this is so authentic, I so love what you're doing. And I've had a few people over the weeks, you know, sit there and go Kaylee. And I feel like there's like this little Go Kaylee cheerleading team inside me that's sitting there just kind of edging me on, and it's partly keeping me going. So I really wanted to say thank you to everyone that has watched any of my videos, even if it's only 5 minutes of one of my videos. Thank you. And for acknowledging and validating acknowledging and validating what I'm doing. It is a very important part of me, and I so appreciate the people that step forward and create that energy within me or respond to that energy within me. So thank you very much. And here is the snippet that I have for you from the conversation I had with Anne last night, which I hope you are still watching and you enjoy.
Energetically remove it from your vibrational system. Yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Up until
you
and I...
to.
Yeah, well, up until you and I have been talking about it, I haven't wanted to. I haven't wanted to because I look at it and I just go, I don't want to deal with that. That sucks. That's just...
What do you think's going to happen when you... Look, okay.
What do I think's going to happen when I deal with it?
When it's done, when it's not there anymore, what do you think's going to happen? What is this thing that you're afraid of happening? I just got it.
The biggest way I can put it is just about everything that will happen once I clear it.
What will happen?
I can see it's like me, massive amounts of light, everything I've ever wanted, the thing I'm afraid of is all the... I'll use the word power because it's the best word that I can use.
Yes, I agree with you.
All the power that I know I have, you know, this thing where someone posted on my wall, you know, when I said that I was able to get from Tallabudgera to Brisbane in 40 minutes, and it's, you know, 40 minutes, and it was at least an hour and a half. And he said, seriously, one day you're going to be like Dorothy and you're going to click your heels and you're just going to appear. That's part of what I see I have the vibrational ability to do, but from a human conscious perspective, that doesn't make sense.
Makes sense to me.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, and so I'm going to say to you, that's bullshit. In other words, I don't believe that's what you're afraid of. Here's what I believe you're afraid of. Here's what I can feel right now.
Mm-hmm.
You are terrified that when you remove that thing that's been holding you up for so long, that you are going to collapse.
Yes, that's probably the other part of what I'm terrified of, yeah. Which is why you're sensing the fragile and the tenderness.
Exactly. And
that's exactly what it is that I'll just...
It's like myself a long, long time ago, I was afraid to start crying because I thought that I would never be able to stop again. That was a long time ago in another lifetime. But I feel that with you, that, you know, you're hanging on to this because it keeps you pumped up. It keeps you with energy inside your body, because the minute you release it, you're just going to... I've got an image of Dorothy, not Dorothy, the witch who gets water on her. I'm melting. You're just going to turn into this puddle of nothing. That's what you're afraid of.
Mm.
Now, that's not physically possible. So while you're saying I'm afraid of the power because, you know, that's, you know, in the human brain, I can't imagine that. No, you're putting more on that than on the real thing, which is this actual thing that you're afraid that you're going to turn into nothing, and that is actually impossible. Physically impossible. So it is not going to happen. It's only happening in your mind. See, I think a lot of the time we all say, oh, I'm so, yes, I've got this fear, but I'm frightened of, oh my God, how powerful am I going to be? That's a cover-up. That's your ego protecting you from actually admitting that you're afraid that you will become nothing. Because by releasing that, you release your ego, and when your ego's gone, your ego thinks it has become nothing, because your ego thinks it is the only thing in your world. And you know it's not.
That makes sense.
So this is your ego causing you to hold on to it so that you don't die, because your ego can see that you're about to die from ego. You're going to get rid of ego, in other words. And is that not a beautiful thing? Because the minute you die from ego, you know what I see right now is just this light beam coming out of your chest. And it's, oh my gosh, an open heart.
And all I can hear now in my head is, but I don't know how to do that. It's all I can hear.
But you see, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. You can feel it, can you not? And you're now aware of it. And when you start to go to, I'm so terrified of how powerful I'm going to be, you can say to yourself, that's bullshit. I'm actually afraid that I'll be nothing. And then you can say to your ego, you will still be here. You'll still be here. For the reason that you are supposed to be here, which is for me to get fed and watered and somewhere to live and to be protected, but you don't need to do all these other jobs that you've been doing for my whole lifetime, that you never should have been doing. You are still going to be here, but in a different capacity. In the capacity that you were actually meant to be here for. Because I've just grown up. And I've just settled into who I am as a spiritual being.
And then what? What happens? What happens when all the stories stop?
What happens when all the stories stop, Kaylee, is that you go out and you do your great work. When you stop feeding energy to this thing inside you, and it's quite large, you will start, seriously, you will start bringing through messages that are pure beauty.
It's, yeah, I can see it, and I can feel the fuel. I can feel the fuel of this energy, and I can feel how I have just been. I touch it and I just go, nah, that's way too hot, and turn and go, it must be something else. It must be something else. It must be something else, and it's like, I don't want to go there. That's just horrible. Yeah, I can feel that energy of it. My thing is being aware of, obviously in some way, unconsciously, consciously aware of this energy that is creating this lack of money. And, and for me it was more knowing that I was creating this and not understanding how or why, because I just hadn't seen this big, this energy, but I knew it was there. Yeah, I knew it was there. I've known.
Of course you knew it was there, but you're ignoring it because you don't want to deal with it. Because what happens when it dissolves, you collapse into nothingness, and that's absolutely not going to happen. So there's nothing to be worried about. You can't collapse into nothing without dying, and you're not going to die.
Which is really interesting because I've always had... one of the first fears that I ever dealt with was my fear of dying. But you know what's even underneath all of that? The worthiness and the layers and all that sort of stuff. And we've said it a few times and it's just really clicked. Is that I'm afraid of nothing. The nothing. Being nothing.
Yes.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Absolutely. You're not afraid of being something. You're afraid of being nothing.
Being nothing. And so what do? I create an environment where I am literally nothing.
Yeah, because then you can get comfortable with it and it won't matter so much.
That's right. That's right. If you can get comfortable with the nothing, then it won't have such an impact on your life.
But then again, the beings that work with you are in some way pushing you towards this so that you can actually deal with this thing that you refuse to deal with, because they can't work with you fully until you've dealt with it.
Well, that's right, and that's where I come back to all this resistance that's been created is universally created because they're pushing me into dealing with this thing that I'm refusing to deal with.
But only because you refuse to deal with it. If you dealt with it, they wouldn't have to push you. So again, you're the one that can be in control of it.
Yes.
You're only doing what they have to do for your growth.
Yes.
Because at some level you're asking them, please help me.
Yes. And that's why I say that they're dragging my ass through the sand, and for the last 7 years I have resisted every single lesson that they have ever wanted me to learn, and that's why the last 7 years have been so hard, because I have resisted every single step of the way.
You're not the only one.
Oh, shit,